Have you ever looked at your GLP-1 journey after 50 and quietly wondered, why does this feel so much harder for me now? Maybe the scale slowed down, maybe your appetite came back, maybe you're doing the same things that used to work before, but now your body feels completely different. Meanwhile, you're watching other people lose fast while you're fighting for every single pound. After 50, weight loss can feel very different. Here's the hard truth that nobody prepared us for. Your body is changing in ways that most people never talk about. Your hormones start to shift. Muscle loss matters even more. Your inflammation increases. Stress hits you differently. And what worked for you at 35 and maybe even 40 is not working for you anymore. But that does not mean that your journey is over. Stay until the end of this video because I'm going to share with you the mindset shift that completely changed the way I see slow weight loss after 50. This may actually be the message that your body has been trying to tell you all along. So let's get started. The first thing I want you to know is that your body is not broken. One of the biggest mistakes that women make over 50 is that if you're not losing weight fast, then something must be wrong. Especially taking the GLP-1 because we may have had that first week or first 2 weeks where we lost a lot of weight initially and then things start to slow down. Just know that your body is dealing with a whole different hormonal environment. So what does that mean? One of the biggest players in this shift of your hormones is estrogen. It plays an important role in our bodies. And as estrogen declines during perimenopause and menopause, several things start to happen in your body. You get more belly fat. Have you got that? A lot of us have experienced that. Increased inflammation, changes in your hunger, and you could actually experience more cravings. Poor sleep. I'm hearing that a lot in our GLP-1 community. Higher cortisol levels. Cortisol is that stress hormone. And the weight loss just feels slower. So that declining estrogen just means that your body may not respond to weight loss like it once did before. And while we're beating ourselves up and blaming ourselves and thinking something is wrong with us, it's actually a normal part of our aging process with the hormones. So let's get out of that mindset where we're just going to take the shot, we're going to lose weight, and everything's going to come off super fast or at a steady pace. It may be a normal pace. It may just be a little different. But after 50, many women, including myself, we're realizing that the journey is more complicated than that. It's more complicated than even calories in and calories out. So you can still lose weight and you may still lose weight, but your body is going to require more patience, more protein, more recovery, more movement, more stress management, and one thing I say all the time, it's going to require more consistency. So again, I want these two words to stick with you: stay patient and stay consistent. I'm going to be honest with you. When people tell me that they are losing slow, I'd love to give encouragement. I love to tell people to stay patient and stay consistent. But let's face it, we're tired of hearing track more, eat more protein, sleep more, do more of everything. We know we don't want to add more and do more. When you get to the point where you're over 50, I'm going to tell you, you've tried a lot of things to lose weight. And so we're emotionally exhausted, aren't we? We're tired of hearing restrict your calories more, eat more of this, eat less of that. We're just emotionally exhausted with the tracking and doing more. So I'm going to tell you the hard truth. You probably will have to tweak some things, but just remember, your body is not resisting you. Your body just needs a different strategy and maybe asking for a different strategy. So if you can go into your 50s on this GLP-1 journey, your 50s, 60s, 70s, and I'm going to say to you, if you're feeling better, even if that scale is not moving, hold on to that. The second point I want to make here is muscle loss matters more after 50. It just does. I know people may be tired of hearing about strength training and building muscle. As your estrogen levels decline, women naturally lose muscle mass more easily. And GLP-1s can sometimes increase that risk if your protein intake is too low, your calories are extremely low, like under 1,000. you're not strength training, you're losing weight too fast. I'm going to tell you to contact your doctor and find out what your protein level should be, how many calories you should get, how much strength training you should do. Work with your doctor to come up with a plan for you. I have some previous videos that I'll put here for you if you want to know what I am doing. But you need your own personalized plan. You need to know for yourself where your hormone levels are. I do have a free guide in my stand store. I'm going to insert that in the description of this video, and you go and download that and take that to your doctor. I always say go to your doctor armed with information. You want to know where your estrogen levels are. A lot of doctors will treat you on your symptoms, but I say find a doctor that specializes in menopause, find a doctor that specializes in women's health, and that will help get you started on your way. We see these women celebrating their rapid weight loss online. Guess what? The part we don't see is them feeling weak, them feeling tired, not being able to exercise. Their metabolism has taken a hit. They are skinny fat. You're skinny, but you're not healthy. They have lots of saggy or loose skin, and they're also struggling to maintain it. That is what we don't want to glorify. That is what we don't want to chase after. We want to chase after sustainable, normal, and steady weight loss. And after 50, preserving muscle is going to help you do that. Preserving that muscle is going to become more important for longevity than that number on the scale. I'm just going to tell you, muscle helps support your metabolism, your mobility, being able to move, get in and out of that car, go up and down those stairs, all those things, your blood sugar control. Believe it or not, muscle helps support that. Your balance, your energy, your long-term weight maintenance. Now, isn't that important? Because once we take off this weight, we do not want to gain it back. So if your loss is slower, but you're protecting your muscle, that might actually be healthier for you long term. So here's a quick question for you. Have you noticed that your body is responding differently to weight loss after 50? If you are even in your 40s and you've noticed this because you may be in the perimenopause stage, please drop a comment in the comment section and let me know. That brings us to point number 3. And I'm going to say this again because it's so true. That comparison culture, that is discouraging a lot of people. I think we do have unrealistic expectations of how fast we should be losing weight. And if we can just let that go, let that comparison culture go, the idea that I should be losing fast or losing at this pace because I see someone else losing at that pace, if we let that go, that would free us up to being able to be satisfied with our journey, proud of what we're doing on our journey. And that would allow us to let our bodies work at its own individual pace, not someone else's pace. A slower, normal pace of weight loss does not mean that you are falling behind. That does not mean that your journey is unsuccessful. Even the people who say to me, I have not lost at all. I've lost 10 pounds. Somebody told me they lost 10 pounds in 6 months. I do understand that that can be discouraging, but sometimes your body is healing. Insulin resistance, inflammation, emotional eating patterns, which I know a lot of people have that kicking in when something in your life happens to throw you off, hormonal stability, and that metabolic dysfunction. One of the great things about taking this GLP-1, great things are happening in the background. You're not going to see those things. You're going to overlook those things if you're focused on the slowness of the scale. So let's not do that. Let's focus on the great things that are happening. And a lot of times those things happen before that dramatic weight loss even occurs. So there's that. That brings us to point number 4. Your appetite returning does not always mean failure. And I just want to say to people out there, I'm experiencing this now and have experienced it in the past. When your appetite returns, do not panic, do not get afraid. Talk to your doctor about what your options are. But I would say to you, being hungry is normal. I believe people think on this GLP-1 that they're not supposed to be hungry again. And taking away the food noise, don't get me wrong, that is great. That's a little different than what I'm saying about your appetite coming back. Constantly thinking about food all the time and constantly wanting to eat something, that's a little different than having an appetite and your appetite coming back. It's not really out of control, but because people have experienced that strong appetite suppression, I notice the moment it comes back, people get in a panic. And that's what I don't want us to do. The goal is not to never feel hungry again. The goal is to have better control of what you're eating, fewer obsessive thoughts when you were thinking about food all the time, improved awareness, better decision making when it comes to eating food, being consistent with your choices over time. Just know that hunger is not failure on this GLP-1. That takes us to point number 5. The scale is not the only sign of being successful taking a GLP-1. If you are somebody who watches my channel, you know I talk about this all the time, the great non-scale victories of it all. I just want you to focus on those things, because a lot of times in my comments when people are saying to me, I'm not losing, they're telling me all the great things that are happening in the background of your GLP-1 journey. If we focus on that, we're not going to let the fact that that scale is not consistently going down every month or every week, we're not going to let that bother us too much. I'm telling you this because it has worked for me. What are some great things that are happening? My A1C going from a 7.6% to a 5.6%. I mean, bravo. I am just elated about that. My high blood pressure going from in the 150s over 90s to normal. I have heard people even say they went from taking blood pressure medication to not taking any medication at all. Those are 2 great non-scale victories, the labs of it all. And the energy level, being able to move. Someone in their 70s just left me a comment and told me that they're able to run around with their grandkids in their 70s. They said they feel youthful again. I mean, geez, Louise, how exciting is that? So we have to celebrate those things. Join me live. Come to my live streams on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. because I would love to celebrate your non-scale victories and your scale victories. If you have some scale victories, I want to celebrate those with you. I think that's so important to give yourself a pat on the back on this journey. It can feel like you're alone at times and judged at times, but there's no judgment here. The journey is not necessarily about becoming smaller, being in a smaller body. It's about becoming healthier and developing healthy habits and a sustainable lifestyle. So if we think about it like that, I think that changes our perspective a whole lot. So I'm going to tell you, the biggest mindset shift for me was not how fast am I losing weight, but am I becoming healthier? I actually sat down and looked at my labs. I sat down and I looked at my clothes, the size I went to. I looked at pictures and how I started off being a bigger person and how I'm a smaller person now. And I didn't give it a number. I just looked at myself and said, wow, you have come so far. So the biggest mindset shift has to be not what that scale is saying, how you feel. Focus on how you feel and focus on how far you've come. So after 50, and even in your 30s and 40s, if you're experiencing signs of perimenopause and menopause, your body is focusing on healing, hormone balance, reducing inflammation, preserving the muscle you have in your body, stability and recovery. It's going to do those things before that dramatic weight loss. So let's embrace that. You are probably losing normal and steady. Not necessarily slow and steady, normal and steady. Normal is that 0.5 to 2 pounds per week. So if you're in that range, somewhere around 2 to 8 pounds a month, you are losing normally. If you have not made it to that 2 pounds a month, you're under that. I want you to stay patient and stay consistent because eventually the weight should come off. If not, this is when you want to contact your doctor and see what is going on. So thank you for sticking around. If this video helped you, encouraged you, or made you realize that you are not alone, I want you to share this video. I want you to hype this video. Let me know in the comments what has felt the most different about weight loss after 50. With that said, I want you to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I go live or upload a video. I am live on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Join me live. I would love to support you on your health journey. If you need a more private group and more support, join my inner circle. I will leave the link in the description. I also want you to check out my stand store. Go to that stand store and download the list of hormones that you will need to take with you when you go and see your doctor. I also have a script that you can use to actually support you when you talk to your doctor. I always say it's best to go armed with information, especially when you're unsure about what you're talking about. You want to go and let them know that you are serious about your health. So I want you to take great care of yourself. And remember, slow and steady, normal and steady wins the race. Just don't quit.